Hello everybody, welcome back to Circuit Simon Says. Today I'm using my glass top coffee table to help me out because get a better reading off of the magnetic tool, more consistent. So today I'm looking at my Carrera digital KTM crossbow. So this particular model is one of my first digital cars, and it's one of the older versions of the KTM. And this one here has the wing mirrors. Not all versions that Carrera have produced come with the wing mirrors, so if it doesn't, don't worry, because they are not actually meant to be there. Those cars actually run with digital cameras and for their wing mirrors, and they don't actually have these when they're actually racing. Those representations of the cars don't have them, so don't worry about it. If you're not seeing the wing mirrors, they're not meant to be there. So as with all Carrera cars, these cars are very well finished, very well printed. Just see if I can get it to focus, but anyway, very high quality decals and a very nice finish. So yeah, really like this car. This car comes with different size front and rear wheels, and I'm wondering if that comes into the handling of the car, but I'll get into that in a second. So like all Carrera digital cars, you've got the spring self-centering guide, which is quite nice for when you fall off, and it makes it easy to put back on the track. You've got the polarity switch to enable you run on either a digital or an analog track. The digital light sensor, you've got your motor, and then it comes with the two magnets. Current configuration, I've had this car for a while, so yeah, I've got some glue on the wing, and for testing I've got these. Now I was thinking of running this as my shop race car, so I did buy some pull gauge, so I'm able to do a comparison. Now these pull gauge that I've got were ones that they had in the shop. They're actually a little bit smaller than the stock tires. This is so that they grip tight on the wheel, and then when you've sanded them, they fit well. So you notice that, I don't know if you can see it here, but here they've got the concave, but when they're actually on the wheel itself, they lay flat. So I'll be able to talk about that as well. So this car, in comparison to the BMW, let's see here. The KTM has a slightly shorter wheelbase, line those up, than the BMW, only very slightly shorter. And then guide to rear wheel, it's definitely shorter. Width-wise, let's see. Width-wise, they're identical width, and the tyre thickness is the same on the rear. So there we go. And I don't know if it's noticeable there in the camera, but there is a subtle difference in the wheel diameter size. So let me get my caliper out here real quick. Zero. Okay, if I can get on the plastic. So that has about right around a 16mm diameter wheel, and looks like I'm needing a new battery. This has about a 17mm rim, so the wheel on the KTM is a little bit bigger, and it has a shorter wheelbase. There's that, the silicone glue coming to my rescue. So this car, it has the same motor as the BMW, and it has a slightly larger rear wheel. It's actually a very quick car because it goes further per revolution. So on the track with the standard rubber, I'm running a very, very similar time against the BMW. The trouble is, I don't know why, maybe it's the larger wheel or maybe it's the magnet, which I'll check in a second. This car is harder to keep on track. So where I can run it a similar speed to the BMW, I'm definitely falling off the track more. It's a trickier car to drive. And so, yeah, can I run it as quick or quicker than the BMW? Yes, but I'm not as consistent. So, well, at the club, people have looked at this car for racing. And several members have gotten this car. None of them have ultimately decided to choose to race this car in our Carrera GT car because, for whatever reason, it's a harder car to drive than the BMWs or any of the other cars. Really, it's just a trickier car to drive. So nobody's racing these at the club. On their own, like I say, you can run as fast or faster than the BMW, but it's a trickier car to drive. And I think that lack of, like, that finer edge of control that's needed between the two, the additional speed that you get from the larger wheel diameter here doesn't translate into lap times. So I think that might be the reason. And when we race at the shop, we're all running the same magnetic downforce. However, I will check the stock magnetic downforce now for you and let you know how that looks. Okay, so this is my shop calibrated car, calibrated on the shop scale for 100 grams. So that's reading right about where it should be and where it does on the shop scale. My BMW on this flat surface is reading 126 grams, and my KTM is reading 100 grams. So my one stock against the BMW is down on the magnetic downforce. I'm wondering if that rear wheel is coming into play here. It's a bit larger. Maybe the magnets are a bit more lifted away from the track surface and the track rails. That only matters when it's stock in the at-home setting. When these are raced at the club, we add magnets and bring those downforces up all to the same magnet limit. We race at about 140, 150 grams. It's either 140 or 150, not 100% sure. So, sticking here with this car, like I say, I was thinking of running it at the shop, but I found the handling tricky. So I got a set of pull gauge tyres. They do help. They help the car in the stock run more consistently. It makes it faster than the BMW, but then the BMW is stock and then I run these, so it's about a third of a second quicker than the BMW with the pull gauge tyres, but then it's not all fares in love and war. So it's kind of a tricky situation. It's a little bit slower. Well, it's about the same speed as the BMW. It's just harder to keep on track. Yeah, I could tune the magnets, but I'm keeping it stock and just letting you know how this one is for me stock out of the box. So let me give it a couple of quick laps and let you know what I think. Okay, here we are at the circuit. I'll just put on a couple of quick laps. Oh, there we go. So I find this car a little bit trickier to keep on track than the BMW. I think the extra tail weight on the BMW allows for a little bit more slide, whereas this one's got, where it's shorter, you've got to throw it into the corner harder before it's coming off, but because you're already going in harder because it's shorter, there's not as much forgiveness in it, there's not as much give or as much slide. That's my thoughts anyway, or my theory. But it is a fast car, it's harder to live on the edge with it. Alright, let's go have a quick look at the times. Okay, so after some fast laps with the stock tyres, you can see that the Carrera KTM Crossbow is at the top of the leaderboard just at the moment. It's ahead of the BMW and it's faster than the Aston Martin. Now, yeah, I've laid a very fast lap time in comparison to some of the others. I did lose a wing on that, and a wing mirror, got to go find that. It can set a faster lap time. It is a fast car. I just find it harder to drive than the BMW and the Aston Martin. It's a bit more twitchy. Let me see, I've got the Aston Martin here. It has a longer wheelbase than the Aston Martin, the same track width. I find it harder, to be honest, and harder to be more consistent. It's a fast car, and yeah, that's about it really. It's a good looking car, it's a fast car. I just find it a bit trickier than the others. So I don't know what everybody else's experience has been with this car. If you've got it, feel free to leave a comment and yeah, let me know. But it's a good looking car and the times don't lie. It is fast. Just feeling wise, it's a bit tricky for me. All right, well, everybody have a good one, and until the next time, be safe and take care of yourselves. Bye.